to the National Bowls Centre. What a brilliant afternoon it's been in South Ayrshire. Earlier on the Bowls Scotland socials, we brought you live coverage of Hindland pairs reaching the semi-finals of their end of the tournament. They overcame Gala Waverley quite comprehensively, and they've subsequently gone on to reach the final, and they will play against Eastfield tomorrow afternoon back here. We also showed you live coverage of a real nail-biter in the ladies' singles between Emma Mitchell of Gilmerton and Chloe Stewart of Northfield. That one was sealed by Emma with a magnificent 20-second end when she took 4 points, and she will play Caroline Brown in the ladies' singles final tomorrow. But before we end today's coverage, we have to bring you one of the youth group matches to round things off this afternoon. We have Shettleston's Abbie Harris taking on Yoker's Robbie Earl, and we'll pass over to your commentary team of Colin Noon and Paul Mitchell.
Thanks, Andy. And it's time for the youngsters to shine. The youth singles, 4 sections of 8 players each. You play in a round robin format, and the top player in each section advances to the semi-final, and then onwards to the final, and hopefully for one lucky individual, or the best individual you hope, the title will be taken. But this is match 3 of the 7 in the group stages. And it's been a very good week here in Ayr. Lots of celebrations going on there. Ron MacArthur, the president of Bowls Scotland, always happy to present the trophies. There's been so much action here. It's been so enjoyable. The crowds have been busy all week, and it's coming to its climax with the finals due tomorrow. Semi-finals day for many of the disciplines, but for the youth singles it's a continuation of the round robin, the third match today. Section A will play 4 games tomorrow morning, which will see them through, and we'll see where they land. Section A is what we're focusing on. I have Melrose, Postal from Edinburgh, Cumnock, Shettleston, Lockerbie, Newhills, Yoker and Mid Calder are the clubs represented. Colin Noon is alongside my high performance coach, also coaching in the under-18s. You've a keen eye on players in this age group, and there's a lot of talent around.
There is indeed, Paul, and this is a great event for the youth. This is the first year that it's been run over 2 days, so more integrated into the adult competitions, and of course that gives them the opportunity to play in front of some crowds as well. And I think that's really good for them. They can showcase, and even from a coaching and selection perspective, it's great to see so many youngsters here, and you have the ability to cast your eye over who's coming through, and even some of the perhaps established players, how well they're performing, and how their form is looking.
And this age group, it is a mixed format, boys and girls obviously. some younger, some older, but it's a mixed format, and you just get on with it.
Yeah, mixed format up to under 18, and that fits nicely with the under 18 international series, which for this age group is actually next weekend, and it's in Abbie in Wales, where we've a team of six boys and 6 girls who will go up against England, Ireland and Wales. So a great opportunity for them to play international bowls at the top level.
Of course, what a lot of these players are hoping for is a pathway from under 18 international to under 25 international, and then on to full international as well. And the dream of representing your country, especially here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great opportunity. This is where they showcase, and obviously the winners here, they catch the eye, and of course there's so many players here this week. You get the opportunity to see everyone who's coming through, and as I said before, who's already kind of known to us.
Is there any more on A after this?
No.
So plenty of action that we've seen here so far today. Let's have a little catch up on some of the action that we've seen. This was a terrific end of bowls. Emma Mitchell had been down against Chloe Stewart. This is the ladies' semi-final. Neither player has really got away as much as they would like. And it was a fairly tight and tough old game between the two. There was a few defining moments in the game as we went along, and that was certainly one of them. And of course, we've had the gents semi-finals as well today, and there's been success for Alan Gray of Eaglesham and for Alistair White of Jedburgh. But this was the ladies' semi-final. Caroline Brown had got through to the final and was awaiting the winner, but it was Emma Mitchell who was to come through. Chloe Stewart just never quite got the form she was looking for. It's a tricky rink. Just struggled for her weight during some of the game, and Emma Mitchell just gradually grew into the game. The quality of the opening bowls were not quite as both players would have liked, but they gradually got themselves into position, and this was to be a pivotal end. Colin, we watched this game earlier on, and it was just one of those matches. Chloe got ahead early, but it was unconvincing as such. There wasn't much in it, despite the fact she had a 6-shot lead at one point, and you always felt that Emma was never out of the game.
No, I don't think either player was, to be honest, was ever in it early on. I think they both struggled. I think it was a tricky rink, very tricky rink, and it's outdoor bowls. But none of them kind of managed to find line nor length for the majority of the game. And but to be fair, Emma turned out to be the stronger and ultimately the most consistent, certainly over the last 5 or 6 ends, which saw her over the line. And as I said earlier, she'll now regroup and she'll go again tomorrow.
Yeah, she won 8 of the last 10 ends in the game. She's the kind of player that goes back over some of the bowls that didn't quite hit the mark. There was a few of those along the way, but when it mattered, she played some top shots.
Yeah, I think the girls probably saved the best for the last 3 or 4 ends, I think, Paul, and the quality of the two players is definitely there. It's I think they wound up playing the green actually over the course of the match, and rather than each other.
Yeah, never really settled. One of the things on the game was the amount of times they changed hands. They were just uncertain. Chloe, a couple of times you thought could have held her hand, but sometimes you want to go to the open hand. You don't necessarily want to hit a short ball coming in, especially if you feel you're not playing particularly well.
Yeah, it's maybe a case of when you play a tricky rink and or a heavy surface, and one that you're not comfortable on, and I think sometimes perhaps players let perfect get in the way of good.
Yeah, it's not always just about you landing bowls, on the jack, just beat your opponent. I mean, it sounds simple, but there was certainly several opportunities in which they could have closed down ends and they didn't take it, just left the door open. And on another day, I think they would have been more lethal about that. We saw Chloe come back with a great ball to save the match. At one point, she couldn't do it at the end, and then we got her way through. But it was the opening balls that were setting the tone, and they weren't as sharp as they had been in previous victories. So that's some of the action from earlier on today. Let's get back to the live action. We are ready for Abbie Harris against Robbie Earl. Shettleston against Yoker. And the trial ends are over. So it's Robbie Earl who'll get the jack first. And it's a different type of game in terms, it's timed, it's 40 minutes. Yeah,
it's a timed format, so there or 21 up. So whichever comes first. It is of course possible to get to 21, but mostly unlikely.
Yes.
To be fair. So timed format. Big round robin competition, and of course the winners of the sections go through to semis and finals, as I think you said earlier.
So the opening ball of this round 3 match of 7. On rink 1. The action we've seen earlier on today took place on rink 2. There's Abbie Harris. Not a bad start.
Yeah, it's a great start from Robbie. Two very well weighted balls. He just adjusted his line with his second there. Abbie electing to play the other side, which is a bit more of a swingy side, so it'll be interesting to see whether she elects to follow Robbie at some stage.
Just a little rub there. Still holding one shot. Little twist of the hand in the delivery.
Just missed the line again, I think.
Yeah, pretty much the weight she was looking for. It's going to stop. There's a fairly bare patch of grass there.
That may actually be the shot.
I'll have a look. From our angle here, it looks like the black ball, but from the angle that they will look at, it will hold for
Conceded.
Robbie Earl, who takes the opening end. Well, the weather has held up nicely. There was some dark threatening clouds earlier on this afternoon, but thankfully they passed by peacefully. It's a third game for both players, both won one, lost one. Both lost their opening game and then came back to win the second match. Both Cumnock and Mid-Calder in this section are unbeaten.
Excuse me, do you know what the current score on this game is, or because there's no change in that?
Looked a good line, but it did look pacey. It will be the first shot.
Yeah, both just overplaying a fraction coming this way. The lines are reasonable, the hand does swing. Abbie's better here.
That's perfect, draws the shot. Just going to cut under, it was a decent effort.
It was a great effort. The reward was 3 if he got it. The consequences may now be 2. But let's see why Abbie's memory's good.
The marker updates the card before he updates the crowd on this particular occasion. So Abbie Harris gets on the board. In terms of the round robin, you can afford to lose one game, arguably, but two starts to make life tricky for you in terms of qualifying.
Yeah, it does. I think it's a big ask to get through, all of your section games unbeaten, because the standard is high. Although, of course, it's been done in the past. But yeah, I think generally, if you're winning all of your games bar one, you've got a really strong chance of qualification. It's a short, sharp shock. Really.
Yeah,
40 minutes is a quick game. You cannot afford to get off to a slow start.
So the jack in the ditch from Abbie. So Robbie will get the chance to throw his preferred length, which will be considerably shorter.
So is this the third? No.
How many ends?
That's precisely what you hope when you set that, is that your opponent goes through. Well, I'll be disappointed dropping so far short after a great second ball. He's just going to come inside.
Bowl Scotland president there, sitting in the background at the back of the rink, hoping to learn a thing or two, perhaps.
I'll tell him you said that. That's nicely drawn. Nicely done indeed. So a couple of shots for Robbie Earl. And you mentioned it, you don't want to let your opponent get away in this one. Even lead 4-5 can be really tough to try and draw back in such a short space of time.
No, you can't. And if the scores there are correct and Abbie has lost one already, then what she doesn't want to be doing early on is starting to chase a score. She just needs to settle into her own rhythm and plug away. Ones are good at this stage, but she really can't afford to let them get too far in front here.
Confirmation there on the scoreboard. 1 in red for Abbie Harris, 4 in blue for Robbie Earl. He's looking to build on that win, a 12-9 against New Hills earlier on today. And it's a 40-minute game. If you can reach 21 shots in that time, you win automatically. But it is 40 minutes. I'm having a look through the 4 sections. Nobody's managed to rattle up to 21 just yet. We've had a 20 within the 40 minutes. But generally, you're looking at scores in the mid-teens.
Yeah, perhaps. If it's a big score, and one-sided, then you can get to 21. High teens is more likely, but more often than not, you see games a bit like this, where the chances are this will be a bit nip and tuck as we go on.
It's almost what you don't like to see as an opponent is one short on each hand, and you think, I've just got to just put them out of my mind and figure out how am I going to get round there, or just cut inside. The thing you don't want to do is hit the ball or leave yourself so short.
Yeah, they've made it difficult for themselves now. I think both hands not looking great, so if Robbie can get one in here, it's going to be pretty tough to beat even at this stage.
He's got more weight, but he's going to go sailing by. It's the shot.
Still room for Abbie. She's away very quickly. The line looks good if her rate is good. Yeah, this will do it, I thought. Will it?
Oh,
Just still pulling up.
Just trying to come through the thicker stuff out there.
You feel Abbie has to change here.
She has done no hesitation either. Off the mat very quickly. Pacey needs to take it with her to make something happen, or rest. And goes through once more. Well, a loose end from both players, but Robbie Earl will be the beneficiary of it. Just keeps the scoreboard ticking over in his favour. This will now present a challenge to Abbie Harris. So you're watching the youth singles. It's a group game here in the National Championships in Ayr. Wonderful venue, 5 greens, 2 clubs share these great facilities. It's a great experience for these players to play on these surfaces. But Robbie Earl has opened up pretty well.
Robbie not managing to capitalise on that loose one from Robbie. She'll be disappointed.
This is the shutdown ball from Robbie to try and improve on his first. He's tracking as well. And you notice immediately, they're so quick off the mat, so quick to make the decision, know what they want to do. Just again a little bit pacey.
Yeah, there's absolutely no fear, is there? They don't fear anything. They'll, in their mind, they'll be making the shot with every ball they play. It's quite refreshing to watch in some ways. You don't see them complaining about the surface or the hands or the balls, or they just get on and they get down and they just play.
Taking some of the weight off. Certainly looking on, it's a difficult angle. And again, doesn't bother Robbie. Knows there's room to draw. Wants to come on the inside.
Oof.
Doesn't look like it's enough.
And much like the ladies' game earlier, not that I would encourage overly visiting the head during a timed singles game, but no questions.
Yeah. Use the marker. Ask the question, he will answer. I'll have a look.
Suspect an umpire may be called here. And this is where it's important in a time game that, you know, you saw the umpire walking along the back of the banking there, so he had his eye on what was happening. He knows he needs to get on and off as quickly as he possibly can to let the players play.
So the balls are supported to make sure there's no further movement. And this will be quickly administered with a box measure. It's the closest part of the ball to the jack. Yeah, a good look from the angle there. That's going to be one to Abbie Harris.
He's not gone to that front one yet, Paul. It didn't look like the closest one, but the camera angle may of course lie. Looks like one to Abbie.
Just, it has to be said. Do a check. This is where the timing comes in. If you're the player that's down, you want this to be done as quickly as possible, but you also know it's got to be done properly, and there is the acknowledgement there. It's a fine line that you've got to...
Yeah. Time games, as I say, it's important to get. If the umpire's paying attention, then they'll be keeping an eye on all of the heads and knowing where they should be at the right time, and you could see that happen there. So, yeah, well done the officials.
All the volunteers, our markers, our umpires, the support staff around did a great job all week. I think the pace of the game is best described as brisk.
Yes. Struggling for a bit of weight there.
You can see from the delivery the effort that was being put in. Again, you can see that too from Robbie. Trying to flick the hand through.
Sticking with that forehand side, it can't look good for her. But if she's given it enough. No, short again, unfortunately.
Well, Robbie will expect to put one in the count here. It's done precisely that. Change of hand.
Certainly better.
Yeah, we'll cut out the front two. Can she draw the shot? She has done. That's terrific.
Yeah.
I might just prompt her onto that hand next time round.
Yeah, maybe she's maybe gambled on the fuller length there and dropping 3 short on the same hand. That's a great recovery. I don't think Robbie's threatening it here either.
Well, that's how it goes. You can be lying 3, your opponent drops one in. You don't do anything about it. And from the point of view of the match, that's an important scoreline. It would have been very, very difficult for Abbie to come back if she'd lost a 3 or a 4 there.
Yeah, but now she's in the game. She's only one end away from taking the lead or tying here. She just, like the game we were talking about earlier in singles, she desperately needs a good first one. And she's going with this longer length again and may have lost the jack again, in fact.
Yeah, it's too long, is it? Yep, there it goes. These are the things you beat yourself up about because it's self-inflicted to a certain degree. Obviously, rolling a jack's a great skill in itself, but it's just too much twice.
Yeah, it's maybe again, it's easy sitting here watching, but it's maybe a slightly strange decision to do that on the basis that she's dropped 3 from 4, 3-4 yards up the green in the last end and has gone long again. She needs to get that out of her mind though and concentrate on getting one to a couple of feet at least, probably with her first, and putting Robbie under a little bit of pressure.
She's 14 years old, played for Scotland under-18 squad in Belfast earlier this year. She's already been a semi-finalist 3 times at national championship level. So for 14, she's got a fair bit of experience on the green.
Yeah, she has, and that's where the indoor-outdoor dynamic comes into play, and that there are opportunities for all of these youngsters to get probably international recognition quite early in their bowling career, and you can see those that do have that opportunity, and they have been selected, then they tend to shine, and it lifts their confidence. But that's the indoor arena. This is different. Opportunity for Abbie to add another. Body language says quick.
I wonder if Robbie will change. Not good on him. Sticking to his hand. Doesn't want to be as narrow as that one though, unless he's going to hit it. Just comes round. Needs to break. It's good to see the confidence to play round the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. Not quick to change his hand. He's trying to. He knows that the line is round the ball.
That's good.
Hope we could arguably play the same ball again and set that for the winner. I think he's overplayed it on the wide side.
Yeah, he's a bit fast and heavy there.
Yeah, so Abbie's back in the game.
One of the worst parts of the game are going to come up and say, yep, all yours.
Just shows you how quickly that can turn around though.
Yeah. So it's 3 consecutive ends won. The young lady from Shettleston. Plenty of support in the crowd from Shettleston. They've come in good numbers today.
Less of a crowd on this green now, Paul, but I think the majority of the crowd are being sucked into the other disciplines in the pairs and the triples, so there's still a fair number inside this complex right now. And of course there's another session to go after this one.
Yeah, semi-finals day across many disciplines today, finals day tomorrow. That's a good opener.
This is a good reply.
And they didn't mess about, changed their hand. No real change required here for Robbie.
Just cut the line a fraction maybe.
Yeah, he just went a little bit more narrow. No change here for Robbie, just needs to have the line of his first one to come in, but he's at the line of the second of that. He's slightly over that as well.
The pace of this is certainly keeping the camera guys on their toes, isn't it?
Working hard. They're up to the mat so quickly, get themselves settled.
Give this a better chance.
Needs to hit something to spin it out.
Very unfortunate.
Yeah, if he hit it a little bit more square, he would have taken the 2 out to the side, and he hasn't done so. And it looks like we're going to be all tied up here. So tied at 6 apiece. Robbie Earl, the 16-year-old from Yoker Bowling Club, started playing just 4 years ago at the Yoker Bowls Academy, coached by his uncle Gary, who himself is a national triples winner.
Yoker seem to have a really good setup at the minute. I was up at a competition at Dr. Arda, a youth competition just a few weeks ago, and you know, they had good representation there from both players and coaches. It's really good to see that they're encouraging the youth through that club. I'm sure there are many others like them, but that was certainly evident on the day.
Yeah, if you can get that good youth programme, just keep bowlers coming through. There are natural distractions that come along, you know, higher education, you know, starting jobs and things like that, but you're looking at several things. You're looking at, you know, giving the people who want to play at international level like an introduction to the game, a good coaching early. There's also for those who, even if they drift away slightly, 18, 19, you know, the seed is there for them to come back.
Yeah, and they often do come back, don't they? You know, I think you see that quite a lot. This is a great end of
It's terrific. Well played. And Abbie quite rightly coming up to have a look here.
Yeah, she's not wasting time. She's conscious of the clock, I think, for both of them. So she's having a jog up and down the green there. That may have persuaded her to move to the other side, potentially lift one of her own. She's persistent with this hand. If she reaches, it's a tremendous effort.
Oh, that's excellent. I mean, it's opened it up, and that's really one of the things that you hope for there. Give yourself a chance. Yes, it has brought it out to the back bowl. Yes, your opponent still has too, but it gives you that chance to try and come round.
Yeah, it's a little bit more open. That's why I felt the shot was perhaps on the other side, and that if she'd lifted one of her own potentially onto the shot ball, it would not have moved the jack quite so far. But she now potentially could be facing 3 down, depending on where this goes from Robbie, and you know, potential game changer. Although Robbie's left that, he obviously didn't get that away properly, because
that's in a different postcode, unfortunately, for him, and he knows that.
He wouldn't have got that away properly. He's not played that deliberately. Abbie's picked a good line here. How's her weight? She's
needs to stop. Now then, big chance.
So a great ball from Abbie's probably, you know, it's going to be really unfortunate. She's likely, with a reasonable ball here, to face 3 down. And she is.
She needed to follow it up. She didn't do so on this one. Came to a halt a little bit sooner than Robbie would have hoped. Well, that's a terrific pickup for Robbie Earl.
It's a great turnaround after Abbie's first 2 bowls. You know,
yeah,
two to a foot probably, and Robbie noses it, puts Abbie under pressure, and she has to spring it out to try and give herself a chance, and winds up facing 3 down. So big end coming up here.
Well, it halts a run of 4 and losses. Now, in terms for people who haven't watched the timed game before, and is the last end called? The last end. How? What are they? What are they to look for?
There'll be an indication from the umpire, so they will have a fair idea. Well, they will know when they started, and they'll have a good idea either via their watch or their phone, whichever, what the time looks like, and then they'll get an indication from either their marker or their umpire as to when they're playing the last end.
Just going to catch that square, transfer the weight. It's to hold up, through it comes, shot drawn. Just given the timing, this is an end that Abbie really needs to win.
Yeah, and I would suggest having lost one, Paul, she probably wants to at least card a couple here. Very close to the jack here.
Slipped by. If he'd even nicked that to the side, it was going to be to his advantage.
Abbie looks as if she's under the line.
No damage done, but she didn't pick up the second one that she was hoping for. You can see the little spring in the step there, the urgency just creeping in, just want to make sure.
Yeah, she needs to get the jack away before the timer goes. Now, neither of us have a great handle on exactly when this started, unfortunately, but I would imagine this could well be either the last or the second last end.
Well, it's gone long.
Well, this is the length she's been trying to play, and she's lost the jack twice. So it'll be interesting to see how this head builds.
Doesn't like it. And with good reason, but she knew it immediately. Well, we've all got a bucket of balls that we'd like to get back.
I think I have several buckets. Yeah, but Robbie's not put her under any pressure, really.
Straight onto the mat. Chance to redeem yourself is never far away.
Certainly further, so this is better.
And then Robbie, are you going to miss that? Well, if Abbie can pop a third in here.
And she has. Or has she? Yeah, it's a third. Robbie's changed his side. I'm slightly surprised at that.
It's one of these things you tell yourself that it's there to be drawn, but he's cut
The line.
very much underneath. Oh. And that's just simply a bad end for Robbie Earl. And it's a terrific end from Abbie Harris, but it's a fairly loose three.
Fair play to Abbie here. She knows the time's tight. She's one up and she hasn't messed about there. She's straight down, ran for the mat, got it going. Very fair.
That's good sportsmanship.
Only 2 went on the board there.
Well, the initial indication to us was that was going to be 3. But on the angle, that's a good opening ball from Robbie.
Abbie looks to the sky. I think that tells you everything you need to know. She's watching this one closely.
It's got good reason as well. Here he comes, just wants to rest on that. Well, we will double check the score. We had an indication that it was 3 and therefore 10-9. Indication on the board, certainly at one end, was a 2.
Yeah, and the other end actually says 10-9, which concurs with our score.
Yeah,
so
that's where we were scoring.
So apologies for any confusion.
Yeah, there's a scoreboard that says 10-9. Wasn't it Joe Biden that said he preferred the truth over fact?
Well, the fact now is that Abbie appears to have game against and has a decision to make.
Do you go for the balls?
I would fancy she goes for the bowls or the jack here. It doesn't matter if she takes her own out. It's no different. Goodness, she's close.
Oh, she's given us a chance.
She's taken one out, I think.
Oh,
very,
she's so
very
lucky.
unlucky.
Well, she had the confidence, she identified the shot, she went for the shot, got contact,
Time up. Big one.
not strong enough. And understandably her opponent wants to have a look at this to see exactly where he stands.
Yeah, I think the time is gone.
Yep. They'll just shake hands, he'll take the 2 and take the victory. And what a terrific game. Both players came on to a good game. But Abbie Harris of Shettleston falls at the last end, having set herself up with a 3 in the 12th to drop a 2 on the 13th end. It's Robbie Earl from Yoker who gets his second win in the competition. Had a good game in the end, Colin.
Yeah, great. A good game. Two youngsters, very keen, very enthusiastic about the game, and in many ways, you know, this is the future of our sport. These are the guys and girls who will take the game forward in the next 10, 20, however many years. So it's great to see them showcased on the live stream here and given the opportunity to show the general public what they can do.
And we'll see more of our younger players tomorrow as our live stream continues on the final day of the National Championships in 2023 here from the Bowl Scotland, the National Performance Centre in Ayr. Let's have a preview of what's coming up tomorrow. Just confirmation of lots of games coming up, and it will culminate in the men's singles final, and it's going to be a cracker. Alan Gray of Eaglesham looks to win the title for the first time up against Alistair White of Jedburgh. Join us tomorrow for more great action from the National Championships 2023 from us all in Ayr. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.